It's a small thing, but it's such a big thing. But it's huge. That you have to do some reprogramming. You have to do some clean the house. You have to be
It's nothing you can do in a day.
No.
It's something you got to become conscious of.
Yes.
And when it happens, you got to be the one to fix it. You got to be the one to adjust it in your own mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but it is very important.
Yes.
Because when I began to change the way I thought, my whole life changed with it.
Exactly.
Nothing was the same.
Yep, and sometimes it became a practical thing. Like, maybe it did. I remember in the beginning of, like, when I call this, like, my whole journey of, like, just being, like, the best version of me. And I feel like that happened, like, a few years ago when I moved here. Mm-hmm. It all started with the Abundance Now whole thing. Like, I feel like that's where it started for me. And just, trying to undo a lot of, I felt in that time of my life, I was just going through, like, a lot of anxiety and all this. And it literally started with me writing affirmations, like, on a piece of paper.
Wow.
Like, I would just write them down. And it would be, like, the most, like, cliche ones. Like, I am a beautiful black queen. I deserve all the love and happiness, or whatever, whatever. And it seems so, like, trivial to write these things. I'm like, okay, I'm writing these. And now, suddenly, my life is going to be this way. But it's like a practice. And, like, the more I would write them, the affirmations became so more, like, tailored to me.
Yeah.
Like, they became so personal. Like, it wasn't just a general phrase.
I am beautiful.
It's like, I am worthy of earning this and this and that. I am worthy of this type of love. Things like that. And it just became like a gradual, like, I enjoyed it. Before, it would take me so long to think of 25.
Yeah.
Like, now it would be pages and pages of them. I would record myself saying them and listen to them, like, on the way, like, to work or whatever. Things like that.
It's so crazy you say that because I was speaking with a friend. And we were talking about, because I'm coming into this new season, I'm stepping into these new roles, and I have a tendency, like, I hate to speak this out because this is the very reason I'm doing it, but I've always had a tendency to say, I want to be the best, I want everybody to know I'm the best, but I don't want the accolades.
Oh, yeah.
Like on some Beyonce stuff. Like, I ain't going to show up to the award ceremony, but give me the Grammy. Yes. You know what I mean? Type thing. She was like, you got to stop speaking that, because everything you are doing right now is putting you in the limelight. Right. She was like, I need you got some homework. Go back to your affirmations. Write down who you are. Girl, I wrote affirmations the other night, baby. I said, I am. And it was so good because it reaffirmed what I already know about me. You know what I mean? This is who I am. This is exactly who I am. And, and this is what I'll have. But I'm back on my affirmation tip. So I'm doing a little affirmation challenge out there.
I do something too, because I've lately, I don't feel like all this that I'm speaking to, I feel like I've come to, like, a roadblock in my life. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like all of this has gotten me to a point where, it's like, what's next? Yeah. Like, what other belief? I've gotten all those beliefs.
We got those now.
To get to where I'm at.
That's what I'm saying.
But there's more that's not getting me to where I need to go. And I don't know what they are. So, this is like, to be transparent again, this is like me resetting. Like, we go through these parts in our life, especially if you're growing, like, on a steady level, or if you feel like yourself, like, you're progressing in a way that, it's a good, positive direction. You find yourself having to reset goals, reset things, because you're accomplishing. Like, as far as you have to go, you still have far to
as far as you've come, you still have far to go. Exactly. But so like, you're entering this new level. Same thing I was just saying. Yeah. And so now you've already become everything you've affirmed 5 years ago. Right. That's who you are now. Exactly. Everything you affirmed 5 years ago, you're her. How you doing?
Hey, this is her.
Right? But to get to that space is to only realize, oh wait, it's a new level.
It's a new level.
So now you need to affirm different things. Those affirmations from 5 years ago won't work for today because you already know you her. That's already instilled in you.
That's exactly what it is.
So that's exact, man.
I'm learning as I'm teaching.
It's so crazy that exactly. We always pray to learn as we teach, right? But that's the exact realization I have. I'm like, wait, this is something else. You know what I mean? So, like, I need to affirm. I need to speak to the Brittany I'll be in 5 years, the Brittany I'll be in 3 years, like, who I'm setting up to become now, which is a whole different level of prayer. It's a whole different level of manifestation and thought process that goes into becoming this version of me. And I hadn't even told you yet that I was doing affirmations again.
I know.
But now you know.
I know. Thanks. I'm going to be doing them too.
Please do. And I really challenge you guys to get into these affirmations with us.
Yeah, we'll share some this week on our on social media.
Heck yeah, let's
some
definitely
of the ones
do
that. Because they are
good. They are good.
I know.
After I got done
love
writing,
affirmations.
man,
I truly do.
I felt so good.
That make you feel good.
It's not so cliche like you would think. Like, it really does speak to who you are and who you're becoming.
Sometimes cliche is good. It's cliche for a reason.
Okay.
Everyone does it
because it works.
Yeah, exactly. There's some truth behind it. So another thing I wanted to kind of speak to, and this is also speaking for me. So I'm feeling like this is a very personal episode. I didn't even realize it was going to be this way. But a part of the fear, remember you mentioned being like having the fear of failure and all of that. So taking risks is something that's hard, or has been hard for me.
You caught yourself.
So yes, taking risks has been, something that I've had a challenge with and still. And I feel like a part of overcoming this is to take chances, even when you are afraid to fail, even when you are, uncertain of what's to come, is to take chances. And I'm asking you, since you seem to be on this kick of knowing like what to do to overcome these beliefs, like how do you, for someone who's afraid, who has fear, obviously that's like an underlying thing, how do you take risks when failure just seems so like scary?
Yeah.
Like, how do you?
I say take calculated risks, right? So we don't want to, like, there have been times where I've just jumped out there and definitely just stepped out on faith.
Like, for example, I'll tell you, like, when you took the job.
Yeah.
And it was a whole new environment, a whole new place.
Whole new job.
Yeah, so
when
you did it, even though you were afraid or the fear of failure, like you left something that was more comfortable, that was more familiar, that was more secure, and you went something that was unknown, not secure, unfamiliar, kind of scary, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, but then it works out because you're like you're jumping into something. It could work out or it cannot. You take the lesson, like you said, or it works out and it's all good. So yeah.
For me, I have this thing. When it comes to new challenges, right? Like when it comes to change and when it comes to trying something new like that, like when I'm in a space that challenges, I know I'm going to have to be pulled to I kind of crave that a little bit. I don't know if everybody have that. I do crave that, like, because it pulls me. Like even right now I'm working on something. I'm working on this Airbnb project. I don't know how to do Airbnb between me and you. It's something I've never done. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I could fuck this all up, and and it's ways back there. It's a possibility, but at the same time, I'm like, no. Or I could learn everything I need to know about it, because that's what I'll do. If I don't know what I'm doing, like if I'm coming into a new space and doing something completely different, like the job I've had, like I didn't know how to do marketing. You know what I mean? Right. I'm a marketing director now because I'll educate myself, so it's a risk. But I'm like, what I do know how to do is learn. Yeah. What I do know how to do is gather information and facts and apply them and try them and see what works and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, and when it comes to attaining knowledge, I'm very humble. So I'll go to who I know is the source. I'll go to who I know has the information. And I humble myself and say, hey, like, I want to learn. And I'm not just saying, hey, I want to learn and showing up in your face. I'm showing up just like this. Tell me what you know. I swear, and you'll be talking to me, and you'll look up, and I have 5 pages of notes because I took in everything that you said, and I'm going to use that to do whatever it is I need to do. Because if I have the information, I know I can apply it. That's all of us, whether you know that about yourself or not. So if I have the information, I can go at this thing. I'm just going to have to refer back to what it is you told me. So, don't slight education, you know what I mean? Even self-education. The most I've ever learned is from teaching self. So one thing I definitely do in a situation where I'm completely new and I have no idea what it is I'm doing is I get the information. Like I'm going to become a student. I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to take my notes. I'm going to refer back. And then I'm going to learn. That's how I learn. I learn like a student anyway. That's why I was always really good at school. So I learned. That's my style of learning. It's different for some people. Some people are visual. So if you need to see it, you know what I mean? If you need to put your hands on it, I say do what it is you need to do to get in there. So if it's something new, I didn't know how to start a podcast.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know step 1. I did not know. All we had was an idea. But I was like, well, I bet you somebody else knows. And I bet you with some information out there and some tips and some tools. And I'm going to try all of them. And we're going to see what works for us. You know what I mean? And so with anything for me, it's always education. I'm confident when it comes to learning. So if I learned through it. And then, also talking. So I'm going to talk and ask you, how do I do this? And speak through it. Like, so this.
Yeah.
So how did this, And so that's one thing for me. I say use what you're confident in to build your confidence up in something that's unknown.
Exactly. Perfect transition to what I was thinking. Because a lot of it, you already have a lot of the tools. Believe